and are sheltering in place and taking care of yourselves. Um, so this is Sunday, and we are here in the house. We went out for a walk today, and it's the first time that I had been kind of outdoors in about 4 days, and it pushed all my buttons. My daughter, who you saw yesterday playing the recorder, she is a fashionista, as she describes herself, and um, she had picked out the perfect outfit. And then it's colder outside than we expected, and so she had to cover up the perfect outfit for going outside, and that pushed her buttons. And then I realized, and luckily my wife also realized, that I, because I have some post-traumatic stress, suddenly was hypervigilant about everything and wanted to control everything. And so my daughter wanting to kind of go and have, feelings about the fact that she couldn't wear exactly what she wanted to wear outside made me feel weird. And so I reacted badly. And luckily, as I said, my wife had the chance to kind of step in and calm the situation down. And we ended up having a good walk. But yeah, it's interesting to be afraid of invisible things and to not quite know how to process that. And so I'm hoping, my plan is to go out more as the days go by and move my body, because let's be honest, this body needs to move, but it takes a toll sometimes. And so if you also are having similar moments of stress, I just want to sort of express solidarity to you. We're in a scary time, and there's a lot of unseen things that can push buttons and trigger us. And if that's happening to you, try and be aware of it, and try and surround yourself to the extent you can, social distancing. But have voices in your life that can help you to step back from that ledge. And I'm lucky that I have those in my own life. As I've been practicing and preparing for these little mini concerts, I've realized that over the years I've written a lot of music that is very appropriate for sheltered pandemics. And so, that's something to realize, that was going on in my head for a long time. But I've got a few songs for you today, and then I will, of course, be back tomorrow. And I'm going to keep doing this at around 2 o'clock every day, as long as I can. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Maybe the birds outside my window are just some huge bird symphony, and they're practicing, rehearsing, and warming up for some close bird harmonies. If I'm lucky, before I die, I'll hear the performance, and they'll be singing, Maybe the words I'm listening to are just words that I have said in the past, and they've been reflected back and come to haunt me. Maybe if I look outside my window, you'll be standing there with the sun in your eyes, and you can end this nightmare of being without you, and you'll be singing, Maybe we're the ones in the cage, and we flap about for a little while, and we eat our birdseed and amount to nothing. Maybe the birds are looking in my window and watching me while I'm watching them, and they say, I wonder when he's gonna start singing. Well, I'll be singing, ah, 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 one of the first songs I ever wrote, and I still don't know it. Oh, I have a mantra that I use in getting through life, and one of the things I think about is that anything worth doing is worth doing badly, and if at all possible, learn in public. And so I'm very appreciative of this opportunity to relearn my songs in public with you, and to fail miserably at it. All right, we're moving on. We have a few more songs. I talked about this yesterday, but now I'm actually gonna introduce it here. So this is my latest acquisition. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this instrument. I believe it's Bouzouki or Bouzouki. I don't know. Bouzouki. And when I bought this instrument, I got this because it was relatively affordable, and I had my eyes on it for a while, and I thought to myself, oh, okay, this is great. I'll add some exotic sounds to my repertoire and some tunings and frettings that I'm not used to. No, it's basically like a large low octave mandolin. and what I had really been thinking of in terms of exotic instruments was probably an oud, which is like an Iraqi instrument that has like really odd tunings, and you play it with this long plectrum and it makes sounds. And that was probably what I had in my mind. But ain't nobody in a pandemic got time for a white boy trying to buy an oud. So I'm going to just keep working with this. And what I've been doing with this Bouzouki is basically kind of learning songs that no one really should play on a Bouzouki. So I'm going to be doing a couple of those for you today. And we'll see how it goes. Because again, you know, learn in public and fail up. Woo! All right, let's try this again. Standing on the corner, suitcase in my hand, Jack's in the front seat, Jane's in her best. Me, I'm in a rock and roll band, riding in that Stutz Bearcat, babe. Those were different times. Young men studied rules of verse, and the ladies just rolled their eyes. Sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet, sweet Jane. Now Jackie is a banker, Jane, she is a clerk, and both of them save their monies when they get home from work. Sitting down by the fire, the radio does play that classical music like March of the Winter Soldiers, babe. Be you leaning close, you protest kids, you can hear Jack say, Sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet, sweet Jane. Some people like to go out dancing, and some people, they gotta work. Watch me now. And there's some evil mothers out there. They'll say life is nothing but dirt. Women never really faint, and the villains never really shake their eyes, and the children are the only ones who blush. And they'll say life is just to die, but I say anyone's ever had a heart wouldn't turn around and break it. Anyone absolutely awful, but still deliver it with gusto. All right. So I just want to take a moment and talk about that song, because even though I'm really bad at playing that song, I think that song is infinitely worth playing. And part of the reason why is in the first 4 lines. Standing on the corner. Okay, this is a classic Lou Reed opening, right? So many of his songs kind of place him in a physical location. Standing on a corner, suitcase. I love that because you know that he's like right there on a corner in New York City, and he is looking at something, and what he's looking at is a couple in a car, and he says, you know, and what does he notice? He knows that Jack's in the car seat, and Jane's in her best dress, and then he says, and I'm in a rock and roll band, and the entire song sort of unloads with like sort of class consciousness and observations about the ways in which different generations just totally don't understand each other. And I know that that doesn't apply at all to what we're going through now, but maybe it does. Okay. All right. So again, this is the bouzouki. If you're just joining us, it's an instrument that I don't know how to play, and so I'm simply faking it. But in faking it, I'm going to continue to play some songs that should never be played on a bouzouki. And so, yeah. All right, and this one, I'm going to need to cheat off of the lyrics here because there's a lot of words that I don't know. But we'll see how this goes. And then I'll play some of my stuff after this. But this is one more cover here. Everybody's talking about the stormy weather. What's a man to do but work out whether it's true? Looking for a man with a focus and a temper who can open up a map and see between 1 and 2. Time to get it before you let it get to you. Here he comes now. Stick to your guns and let him through. Everybody's coming from the winter vacation, taking in the sun and an exultation to you. Come running in on platform shoes with Marshall stacks, at least just give us a clue. Oh, here it comes. I know it's someone I knew. Teenage riot in a public station, gonna fight, tear it up in a hibernation for you. Now I see it. I think I'll leave it out of the way. I come near you, it's not clear why you fade away. Looking for a ride to your secret location, where the kids are setting up on a free-speed nation for you. Got a phone and a drum and a hammer that's rocking, and a chord and a pedal and a lock that'll do me for now. It better work out. I hope it works out my way. 'Cause it's getting kinda quiet in my city head. It takes a teenage riot to get me out of bed right now. You better look at, we're gonna shake it up to him. Axe the zero, paint a zero on his head. We know it's down. We know it's bound to lose. Everybody's sound is around it. Everybody wants to be proud to choose. So who should take the blame for the stormy weather? You're never gonna stop all the teenage leather and blues. It's time to go round. A one-man show that teaches how to feel. We're off the streets now, back on the road on the riot train. Songs that should never be played on the Bouzouki. Okay. I'll try and have more of those in the days to come. But, yeah, I mean, you know, those are appropriate songs for a pandemic. We're off the streets now? Yeah, we are. All right. Okay. I got a couple more, and these are my songs. And, you know, I as I said earlier, realizing how many songs I wrote about isolation and being alone, it's humbling. And I hope that even though these songs are about kind of being by yourself and in your own head, you'll find comfort in them and you'll find some solidarity in them. Because even though we're all socially isolated from one another and social distancing, it's very important that we don't have social indifference towards one another. Very important that we look out for each other and we care for one another. We're not choosing to connect the dots, the words behind the eyebrows, photographs, hills of endless power lines. Spending days miscalculating, distance hovers over time, collapsing waves wherein uncertainty resides. So find me, suddenly my mind is elsewhere, something in my eardrums, something in the sand. Words fail me, the alphabet goes crazy, and I'm talking to myself again. I was holding on to something, but I cannot feel my fingers now. I am no longer certain it is there. Counting seconds of the rising, be it bird or satellite, it's just a toy, it can't get you anywhere. So tell me, so one more time, I promise I've been listening, but the words aren't sticking in my mind. I'm really distracted by the Sputnik whispers singing me their lullabies. Triangulate approaches, futile footsteps run along. Kid, I am busy now, wanna think about the sea. I'm past wishing that my head worked, I'm gone fishing, gone forever. God, we made it, now there's only you and me. So find me, but suddenly my mind is elsewhere. Something in my eardrums, something in the sand. Words fail me, the alphabet goes crazy, and I'm talking to myself again. I'm talking to myself again. I'm talking to myself again. Almost there. A few more days of pandemic and I might actually remember it. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So that song, The Man Who Lost the Sea, is based off of a short story by Theodore Sturgeon. And my friend Alec introduced me to Sturgeon and his writings, and especially to that story. And I think it's the best short story I've ever read. And it truly, it speaks about a person who is trying to come to grips with the fact that reality and the rest of life has immeasurably changed. And that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to understand or to comprehend when things are irrevocably changed. And so that I feel like it's appropriate to the times. I also just want to give a shout out to Alec. I haven't had a chance to write him yet, but Alec, I love you, and I'm thinking of you and your family, and we're sending you lots of love. And earlier, playing the song about the birds, thinking about my friend Paul down in Atlanta, and shout out to him too, because one of his comforts for his own mental health lately has been going out and watching the birds. You can do that on a walk, you can do that through the window, but either way, as long as you're social distancing, it's good to do the things that you love. The last one I'm going to play today is a song called The Life You Save May Be Your Own. And that song has a complex history. I first found out about the short story by Flannery O'Connor called The Life You Save May Be Your Own, not by reading the short story, but through a series of photographs by a man by the name of Ralph Eugene Meatyard. And I was living in Atlanta. I was unemployed, but the High Museum down there had a free day every week, and so I rode the MARTA train down to the High Museum, and I managed to take in this exhibition of photographs by Ralph Eugene Meatyard. And too much of the story to go into here, but Ralph Eugene did a series of photos based on The Life You Save May Be Your Own, where everybody who was featured in the photographs all had the same name. And he used Halloween masks and lots of other things. So Google Ralph Eugene Meatyard, you'll get a sense of kind of what's going on here. But Lucy Bell wears a dress of pretty printed pattern gingham and a mask. It's indistinct, and though her eyes hold many whisperings and secrets, I don't ask. It's a quarter story novel that's been marked down to a dime, and I will walk its floorboards just to pass the time. Ralph Eugene is growing thin, but he doesn't seem to notice or to mind. He's got a box with a lid in it. He saves all the moments he can find. Laughter adds some colors to his monochrome paint. As we stare out of this window, all our faces look the same. The time, 'cause he knows all the hands are broken off the clock. Lucy Bell winks and smiles, 'cause she has found another moment for his box. Laughter frames the picture with a silent refrain. As we stare out of this window, all our faces look the same. As the days go by, my fingers will get stronger and my memory will improve. But even so, I'm very grateful to have a chance to kind of be with all of you today. I know it's a scary time. You're not alone. We are together, even if we are socially distant. And I am sending up prayers and love for each of you. And I will continue doing this as long as the Spirit allows. But until then, I'll be back around 2 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to Shelter Radio, and I wish you a lot of care and a lot of peace. See you soon.